Monty again from Barbarossa Lives Game Studio, and I thought I'd take a few minutes to look at our Aeon's Veil project and give you some of the what and why about it. It's not really a tutorial of any kind, just an explanation, and it might help you to set up your own project by figuring out how you can learn whatever it is you want to learn and the things you can put together one step at a time to get to that point. So, in the Aeon's Veil project, the dream would be a full 3D RPG built in Godot. Those are hard to do. Those take a ton of time. And not just the coding side or the putting it together side, but the actual creation of the parts inside the artwork. And while I'm capable of doing that and have a degree in that, just making the art doesn't help, and just doing the coding doesn't help. But while I can sit back anytime I want and work in Blender and create assets for the game, the logic is usually the hard part to keep going. And I say that from experience with a couple of game endeavors. And the coding and the coders was the hardest part to keep. The artists usually loved what they were doing. The artists could use what they were doing in their portfolios and create themselves a better portfolio piece by piece by piece. The coders wanted to do everything their way. And when a coder left, which they did because they didn't get the help they thought they should get, or didn't have everything in the order that it needed to be the way they thought it should be, because nobody had told the artists or anyone else to have it that way. And so in the one project, we must have gone through 10 coders, and every one of them wanted to rip down what was done before and start over. So what I'm trying to do here is to avoid that by making sure the logic is simple, that me as the project head actually understands it, and even if we bring on other people to work with it, it is going to follow this project goal of being broken into small pieces, individual files that people can read, that are not too long if we can handle that, and keep going. So what I'm working on right now is, I figure for an RPG, you need a world. You need a background for that world. You need races, classes, all of that. You need characters. Most of your NPCs could come from those character classes too. So I'm creating a character creator. I'm doing it in Python to begin with because I'm familiar with Python. I can work through the logic in my head. Godot happens to work mostly like Python. At least the logic works the same way. So it transfers into Godot. And each part is something that you learn, and because in most cases, at least so far, I'm having to build more than one class, more than one creator, you learn and figure out what's going on, and should be able to then create them with no help, and just by maybe looking at an old one and knowing what's going on. So from that character creator, we need a list of races, classes, armor, feats, spells, all of those types of things. So that's what I've done so far, is created a class for a bunch of those different things, and more will come along as the game goes, but I think I have most of them that I need for an actual character creation. Then I created small programs that are basically data entry into those classes and saved it all in JSON. JSON is a readable format by humans. It is a readable format by Python without any problem, and a readable format by the Godot without any problem. So it is, once the data is there, the data is there. We don't have to worry about it. We can pull the data in. It's fast. It's quick. It's efficient. This is a great way of doing that. So in Python, I'm using the TTK Bootstrap add-on module that is a upgrade to the tkinter that comes with Godot as far as a GUI, and I think looks much better. And then eventually what I'd like to do is build this into a Discord bot as a real life thing that somebody else would use. It's not just for me, which none of this really is, but it's going to be kind of hard to. Everything I'm doing is in Python, so somebody has to have Python installed and know how to run a class and that kind of stuff to begin with. Be cool to have it running in Discord, and it would give me another thing to have learned and know how to use and build, and another thing to add to your portfolio. And then in the very future, I shouldn't say very future, but the step that comes after that is then how do we make an AI that plays the role of the dungeon master, even if it's in the 3D whole game. What I'm thinking of, how cool would it be, is if you had a dungeon master who would, in the 3D game, might act like a I can't come up with the word. I do this way too often. But an MC or the narrator of the program and telling you, just like a dungeon master would, kind of what's going on. And just a different way of looking at a game. And what this allows me to do outside of, say, maybe a game, if there is anything that people might say, well, that's a game, that's not real world stuff. Well, real world stuff is creating JSON templates, which is what is used all over the place to store and read data, and it's helpful because it's very human readable and you know what you're doing. Then it's creating an algorithmic design with the dice roller and the character creator in the long run. It is building class architectures and how they work together and how they can be pulled in from JSON, creating the GUI in both Godot and the TTK Bootstrap, another skill. And then when you get to the Discord bot and the AI assistant, and then eventually into hosting and working with online or cloud services to host the bot and the program itself. So just wanted to go over that's what I'm trying to do here, but hopefully that's helpful for some of you somewhere, that this is a pretty decent way of making a project that you want to do, but finding the ways that you can establish those parts of programming that you want to do to be able to show other people that you've done them. So that's where it's there. And I will be back again to talk more about the specifics of the dice roller as it is today, and then we'll do another video showing how we've done the characters and the character or the classes and the class I guess creators, or the class information tools to fill out those classes in the JSON format. All right, we'll talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.